welcome to the GCA session. So, as part of this GCA learning, today we have the session from Mr. Vedang, and I would like to invite him to handle the session. So, nice to meet all of you in this session, and hope you will all enjoy the GCA learning session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, guys. Myself Vedant. So, guys, we're going to see today how this basically how these things are actually accomplished by the hackers, right? And accomplished in the means of how this is very easy to actually achieve, right? We're going to see it very in detail in this particular session, and obviously we'll try to understand it also. So let me present my screen here. So talking about the first topic, which was about decoding phishing email tactics. Talking about email tactics or phishing email tactics, nowadays we have seen that there are multiple data breaches happening on the networks, right? Or else we can see there are multiple data breaches happening on the internet. So let's understand it first, how data breach can react on this particular space, right? So whenever we talk about data breaches, we have seen that multiple times your email addresses are the one thing which will get we can say reflected on the dark webs, or else we can say whenever the data breaches or data leakage happens, the email ID is the first thing which will get we can say outspaced, or else we can say it will get leaked to somebody else who can have access to your email address, right? And whenever we see this is the access to email address, this person can now bypass some security algorithms. The similar thing we're going to see today is Imki's emailer. Now, I don't know how many of you know about this particular practical, but this is completely internet based. Okay. Now, if we talk about Imki's emailer, what happens when Imki's emailer, whenever we use this Imki's emailer, basically it helps us to actually put the fake emails to the target. So let's take an example. If I have understanding of some target email address, I can also use another email address to again phish that particular person. Let's understand it, how it actually works. So in this particular practical, we're first going to need again the email address, right? So I'm going to take a temporary email address from here. This is my temporary email address which I'm going to mail to. I'll put it inside, let's say I'll put it inside here, or else I'll put it like GCA, and I'll put GCA@gmail.com, and I'll put it to this particular email address. This will be a test email address. Okay, and we'll click on this. Okay, so we have sent an email here. We can see this particular Imki's emailer, which helps us to actually form. We can actually create here a complete email address. So basically, it helps us to give Imki's emailer provides us the SMTP email addresses, a free SMTP email addresses, which are arranged in a wrong way, we can say. But yes, whenever this particular things is used, we can see here GCA@gmail ID, right? We can see here that this particular email address has been reflected here, and this test email can be seen, right? So how to understand whether it is coming from the right source or not, right? How to check it? So in case if we have to verify whether it is coming from the right source or not, so we can actually verify it by just going on your Gmail ID. So let's understand it on your Gmail first, because I hope so there are multiple people who must be using Gmail here. So let us understand it here, how it actually helps us to understand, like Gmail uses. So there is one specific area in Gmail which helps us to understand whether the email is coming from the right source or not. So this is my Gmail ID. You can see this is one email which we have done. And in this particular email address, we just have to go on this three dots. We will click on this three dots. We will click on show original. And after clicking on this show original, you can easily see this. There are three bodyguards of one Gmail, okay? Understanding these three bodyguards, SPF, DKIM, and DMARC. We can see this DKIM and SPF is passed, but the DMARC is failed. This is the one place where you can understand that this mail is not coming from the verified source, right? We can understand it here also that there is something wrong happening in the backend. There is a mail coming from Gmail ID, but the SMTP is not used of Gmail. It is of Sendinblue. I don't know how many of you again know about Sendinblue, but yes, Sendinblue is the company. Now its name has been changed to Bravo. So this company gives us a free SMTP server And configuring that free SMTP server, we can send an email to anyone on the internet. Again, you cannot able to understand it. Rather, you first have to understand the SPF, DKIM, DMARC, right? This is how you can verify whether it is coming from the right source or not. So I also have one more message here, which you can see it is coming from the right space, and we can see SPF, DKIM, and DMARC, all three are passed, right? So if your email is coming from the right and correct, we can say organization or else correct SMTP server, it will help us out with the same, right? We can see the SPF, DKIM, and DMARC will be passed. So this is how actually we can understand that email spoofing happens on the internet, right? And this is not the only way. There are multiple techniques in the backend which hackers can use, and they can bypass this particular thing.
Vedant, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. I just wanted to ask the attendees. We have a very good attendance. We have 82 participants. Just wanted to ask them if the speed of the session is all right and if the language is all right. Now, if there is anything that you guys, thank you so much for all those thumbs up. So thank you so much. So Vedant, please continue.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Okay. So, so this is the way we can actually verify whether it is coming from the right source or not. Now, coming to the next one, impersonification, right? So there was also one thing which we have understood, that impersonification, how to address it. Nowadays, there are multiple social engineering attacks happening on the internet, right? How you can verify whether it is coming from the right source, right link. Multiple times there are some hidden links also. Multiple times we have seen that there are some links which were created with the white spaces also, right? So how we are actually able to find it out whether it is coming from the right source. Now, how it happens first, let us understand it, okay? Now, I'm only delivering the percentage of cybersecurity here. So it is not a complete guide, or it is not a complete thing, okay? So it is basically how you can use an open source or else publicly available websites to create such kind of effects, okay? In cybersecurity, there are multiple times we have seen there are some web applications on the internet which helps these hackers to do this kind of stuff, okay? Let us understand it first, how a social engineering link can be created. At very first, a fake website, we have understanding of a fake website. I guess you guys must be understanding how a phishing link is created. There are multiple GitHub repositories on the internet which we can use. Let me start my virtual machine. It will help us to understand it in more better way. Let me present my machine to you. Now, in case if you are using a Kali machine or else any Linux machine, you have this understanding that there are some GitHub repositories which are very much, you can say, suitable for this particular environment. You can completely clone those repositories on your Kali machine, and you can understand how the phishing tactics helps a hacker to gain the ID and password, or else whatever you can say, the authentication information of a person, of a user. How is it possible? So let us understand it first. So I have already cloned one repository here. The repository which we are going to use today is Zfisher. It's very easy to clone. You can just go on the repository. You just have to type Zfisher. I have already cloned Zfisher here, I guess. Yes, we have Zfisher here. We will go to Zfisher and we will start Zfisher here. Now, the moment I hit enter, you can see here Zfisher have multiple social media web applications already cloned, right? So we can see here it is Facebook, there is Instagram, there is Google, Microsoft, Netflix, PayPal, Steam. We can use any of this particular, we can say, web application. So now here, right now, I'm just going to go with the Instagram, which is on number 2. I'll hit enter, traditional login page. We can see here, we can host this particular phishing link on our local host. We can also host it on a Cloudflare, where it will help us to put this particular link on the internet. Now, there are two things. We can put it on a private network, or else we can put it on a public network. Whenever a hacker wants to steal your information, it will obviously going to go on the public network, right? But right now, we are going to understand it on a private network first, or else we can also see it on a Cloudflare. So we can go with Cloudflare. We can see no custom ports. We're going to select everything normal. Okay, so I guess I'm connected to a secure network here. That's the issue. but it's very easy again to process it on a local host. So let me give you the understanding how it will be going to look. Yeah, now it is on my local host. So I just have to go. I'll just hit enter. You can see this is an Instagram page, which you can see here, but this is actually not an Instagram page, right? How we can verify it, I'll teach you after that. So after this particular practical, we can understand whatever I'm going to type here, everything will be going to get recorded in the backend terminal. Let's say if I click on login here, you can see how intelligent this page is. It will be going to redirected us to the original Instagram page. This is the original Instagram page, right? You can see it got redirected here. Now, all this information, whatever I have given, so those information was actually captured here in the particular tab, right? We can see the information which I have given was seen here, plus my public IP. So whenever we talk about on public IP, victim's IP, we can see here. Now this is happening on a NAT, on we can say private network. That's the reason there is no public IP. But in case if I get an access of a public IP, I will be able to understand my victim is specifically using which ISP, internet service provider, and the another information which will be helpful for me was again the location information. Now the location information will be not precise one, but obviously it will be helpful for me to understand which location my victim is communicating from. So this kind of information can be able to address by just looking at the public IP address, right? But now how the further thing will be evolved. Let's say if somebody wants to hide this email address, let's say, not email address, I'm sorry, hide this URL, let's say, how it will be going to happen. Now, majority times we use IP logger here. Again, this is an open source available data, open source available website. You can go and you can just paste your URL here, completely fine. You can just paste it down and you can create your own link here. It means what? The actual link will get, we can say, like it will get changed, right? So let's understand how it happens here. So you can see it is blacklisted again because we are using a NAT. So private network will actually not going to help us in this particular scenario. Let's do something else here. So let's say if I have to create my own link for a YouTube, if I have to make somebody to go on this particular website, but not like we can say understanding the URL, right? So what I can do is I can just copy this URL. I can paste this one here. And you guys can see here that the link now has been changed, right? Now what IP logger will give us here is basically it helps us to actually change the information of the URL. Like we can actually choose something else, or else we can also add our own domain here. Right now, I'm not going to add anything here. I'm just going to change something here. Let's say if I'm sending him my photograph, right? So I'll give vedang.png. So majority of this time, whenever you see this link look like Vedang is sending some image, right? But when you open this link here, you can see this looks like the image. Vedang is sharing some image, right? But the moment you will hit enter, you can understand it. You are redirected to the YouTube, right? Plus, what kind of information has been shared? So IP logger will also capture your smart data in the sense which location you are accessing this particular URL from. You can see consent collection. So it also like majority of the time, if you are doing some illegal stuff, guys, the hacker will not going to enable this thing, right? We can see collect the GPS data. We will be able to collect the GPS data also. We will be also able to forward the get perimeters and destination preview. All this kind of information can be shared to us. Moment the victim will click on this link, the information will be shared to the IP logger. We just have to refresh it. And we can see the location and complete information is shared here with the public IP address, which operating system I am working from. It's Linux. Obviously, it is Kali Linux, right? Which browser I am using? It's Firefox. Again, we can understand it here. And again, the location information. So you can see this is the location it is actually showing right now, right? So it can be a scary thing, right? If somebody is sharing you a link and how to verify whether it is coming from the right source or not. So it's a very like easy thing. Majority of the times we also use it in a SOC environment. This is a very necessary thing. Like in case if you're not confident on that particular file, if you're not confident on that particular URL, whatever it is, if you're not confident on that particular data, you have to test it before you have to use it in your system. You can go on VirusTotal. This is a very trusted application which you can use. So VirusTotal is an application which multiple times, like I've said you, SOC environment or a SOC analyst will also going to that particular person will also going to get used with this particular application, right? So let's say I have a URL here and I'm not sure about this URL that Vedang is actually sharing his PNG or not. So I'll click on search and there will be some more than 50 antiviruses will be helping me to understand whether this this link is safe or not, right? So let's wait. Let's see what kind of progression we get here. We see here there are two again anti-malware systems which are putting it as a malicious link, and there is also ArcSight Threat Intelligence, which is a very renowned company. So that is also putting it as a suspicious link. So if there is any one of a company who is stating suspicious or malicious, I'm not going to use that particular thing, right? So you can see here there are two companies who are completely clearly stating it as a malicious links, right? So we can understand that this kind of links can be able to collect some kind of data in the backend. Now, there is also one more source which can be helpful for us, and I guess there are multiple people who will be also understanding this. They have already maybe multiple people knows about this already. So what we also do here is we actually test these certificates. Now, testing the certificates means what? So I will give you the clear sites how actually the certificates helps us to understand whether the connection is correct or not. So we can see the connection is secure, and more information we can understand whether this communication is happening clearly from YouTube or not, right? If there is something happening from backend, somebody can use a fake certificates to ingest in this particular data. So let's say if there is some another company who is communicating, so if there is no YouTube, but it's a web page looking like an YouTube, you can verify it by just clicking on the lock sign, clicking on connection is secure, more information, and you can able to understand this website is youtube.com or not. This is a clear way we can actually able to understand how the communication is encrypted through YouTube. This is verified by Google Trust Services. You can also view the certificate and complete information about the YouTube's certificate. So in case if you think that this particular URL is a phishing URL, you have to verify it. You just go and check for the digital certificates. That's how you can able to understand how this communication also helps. So that is how we actually understand how this complete scenario helps us down to understand on the internet. Like there are multiple ways persons can able to bypass you and your information, right? So we actually help us down to understand how these things can bypass our daily securities. But yes, there are some ways you can also understand how these things can be trusted or how these things can be understood.